Hey, this is Jen Tracy here to talk to you about Mavenclad for MS. Just finished day 5 on Monday, and today is a Wednesday. Now, I didn't record a video the next day to say how I was doing. Whoops, I just dropped my Mavenclad pills. There we go. Mavenclad. Because I wasn't feeling so good. In fact, sort of earlier in the day on Monday and into Tuesday, I had a bad-ass cold. Yesterday I was just dripping and dripping and dripping. It was very unpleasant. However, I am feeling better today. In fact, I had a really amazing sleep last night, which is unusual. It helped that I had a little chiropractic adjustment, just what they call an Atlas adjustment, which is just a quick little machine that clips you right there and aligns your entire spine. It's quite phenomenal. I have a list of what I'm going to share with you today because really this is now 2 days after my last dosage of week 1 of year 1. And if you don't know what that means, then go back and watch the other videos, because just to get into that again is, for everybody who's watching, might get a little tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. So a couple of things I want to share with you today. I'm just going to have a sip of this lovely kombucha that my friend gave me for my birthday. She makes it herself. It's so good. And this is really good for the tummy. And for someone who's had some serious tummy troubles. Okay, that's an exaggeration. I've not had serious tummy troubles while being on Mavenclad. What I've had is I've had upset stomach, particularly at night. I've had reflux, and what else have I had? A little bit of constipation, which, you know, hasn't been that much fun. And, you know, some of the things I want to share with you today are reflections, going back and reflecting on my experience with Mavenclad, and really looking at, as I go into my second round, which will be approximately three weeks from now, what am I going to do differently? Based on, you know, because basically this is we're human experiments. Anybody going through this medication, there's not tons of information on it yet, other than the people that are sharing their own experience, like myself. And so, you know, we're in the petri dish. And even if this medication had been out for a long time, I have found it very helpful to hear from others of their experience. So one of my experiments that I did for myself, and I had this challenge that I was going to finish this whole jar of sauerkraut because it's such an amazing probiotic, and this is a very natural one, by the end of the time of taking Mavenclad. So that's only 5 days. And I said, well, okay, maybe I'll do it in 6. Well, truthfully, I changed halfway through, I changed and I said I'm only going to do half. So I'm still working on this, but I have pretty much done half the jar. And the purpose of that is just to create healthy bacteria in my stomach. And hopefully that's working, because truthfully, now that I'm 2 days after my 5th dosage, which I took at nighttime, I actually am feeling pretty good. Like, my stomach's doing well, and I don't seem to have a lot of side effects other than this cold, which I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but yesterday it was it was just a nightmare, and I don't know what happened. I sort of transformed overnight, so I still have it. I'm sure I'm still contagious. I'm doing a heck of a lot better. So that's incredible. Now, some of the protocol that I've taken while being on this is I have a homeopath that I work with, and he had given me homeopathic vitamin C drops that I consistently take, particularly in the winter time, not always in the summer. And so I've been consistently taking those every day. Of course, that window of 3 to 4 hours before or after Mavenclad is essential to doing the protocol and the treatment right. You can't take anything natural or medication in that window of 3 to 4 hours before or after. So I haven't had any more reflux, but what I discovered was that actually, because I'm on this Terry Wall, I keep dropping my Mavenclad box on the ground, the Dr. Terry Wall protocol. Now there's 3 levels for that, and I'm on the Paleo Plus, which is the most strict, extensive level. And one of the things that I was sort of bragging about, and mistakenly so, it's good to know we're human, right, and perfectly imperfect, is that I felt like coconut milk would be a great thing to take, which I drink every day and is part of my diet currently, to protect my stomach. However, what I discovered is by taking that before taking my pill in the evening time post dinner, is I was having serious reflux. Oh, and when I lay down, it was incredibly unpleasant. Now, Tums did resolve the issue. Actually, I was doing Rolaids. A little bit different consistency. Tums is just, I believe it's just the calcium, and Rolaids are calcium and magnesium. I may not be 100% right, but I know that Rolaids are calcium and magnesium. So, which is easier on the stomach because magnesium can cause loose stools, so calcium balances that out, which is why I prefer Rolaids. So that worked really well. The other thing that I did though for the last 2 nights that I was on Mavenclad taking it was I deviated from the Paleo Plus diet, which is no grains whatsoever, and had a little bit of brown rice each night, and that seemed to be a lot better for my stomach. Now I know it's so individual because for me I do have stomach issues, so that can be a big challenge. Maybe you don't have a challenge around that, and maybe it's not related to MS for you, so maybe your tolerance to handle the medication might be higher. Now, I was pleasantly surprised because even though I had quite a consistent level of nausea, it wasn't at a high enough level where I couldn't function. And I'm used to, in the past, because of vertigo during relapses, having nausea in my life. So I have ways that I deal with that. So those were some of the discoveries that I had. Also, I do take, I was taking, I'm just looking here, oh yeah, vitamin D drops. I take it in drops versus the tablets because it gets into the body faster. And I take vitamin D drops that have olive oil in them. They're made by Natural Factor. Not that I'm not trying to promote anything specifically, just if you're curious about it. You know, there's no kickback for me in this whatsoever. And I don't know if that makes a difference, but I consistently wanted to take that during the time, just to keep my body as normal and stable as possible. Now, one of the contemplations that I have, and this would be interesting to hear comments below, is a lot of people on the Facebook for Mavenclad website said that they would prefer to take the Mavenclad at nighttime, and they found that they were sleeping really well while taking it. That has not been the case for me. I slept horribly except for one night because I was completely exhausted, and I guess I eventually slept. The other times I had to take sleeping aids, or when I didn't, I really, one night I just slept 3 hours intermittently. So, and I do have some, you know, some challenges with sleep, but not to that extreme. So what I'm contemplating doing is that when I do the next round, which will be classified as week 5, and we'll start at the beginning, right after the 4th week of the treatment, I will start my next round of pills and my final round for this year, which is 2019. I'm thinking of starting in the morning. Now, I am anxious about that because when I took the medication this time round, I postponed it because I had a bit of a cough. And so instead of taking it on a Monday, which I was planning, I took it on the Thursday, which ended up being perfect because I have my own consulting business, and I usually work with maybe 1 client a day max, and I didn't have any clients on Friday, and I didn't have any clients on Monday. So Friday night pill, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night. So I only had to deal with a client on Tuesday after taking, after taking that. Oh, I'm so confused. Okay, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday. That's what I thought, Monday. So I had 1 client on Tuesday that I sort of rallied and I had something else going on. So it wasn't too bad. And I realized that that's better than taking, I thought, oh, it'd be great to have it all done by Friday night and have the whole weekend to recover. But truthfully, that wasn't how it worked out for me because of my cough. And in essence, it was much better the way it worked. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'll start on Thursday night. I won't have a client on Friday. I won't have a client on Monday. And if possible, depending on what's happening at that time, I won't have a client on Tuesday. Actually, let me correct you on that. This is all very confusing to me. I'm going to start in the morning. So I will start on Thursday morning, and I'm probably going to handle one client on that day. Keeping in mind that on that day, for many of us that are doing this, that's the heaviest dosage, meaning that in that way, like I will be taking 2 tablets, and the rest of the time I'll be taking 1 over that 5-day treatment. So I might not want to have a client on that morning before I take the medication. And for me, because I'm on the Paleo Plus and I work from home, I usually eat my breakfast or my first meal of the day around 10 o'clock, sometimes even 11. So certainly it won't be first thing in the morning for me. So that's my plan. I'm going to try that out. If I'm still having trouble sleeping at night, then I'll know it has nothing really to do with the Mavenclad. It probably just has to do with my anxiety about taking it, although who knows for sure. And I'll see how it goes. If I really am exhausted in that second round that I'm going through, then I will likely move it to the evening time at that point. But because I had such a horrible sleep while being on round 1, my thought is to adjust it. And I know some people have done the opposite. They've started in the morning and moved it to night for the second round. So really, again, it's very, very individual, and for you to decide what you want to do. And honestly, coming into this, I was looking at the comments on the Facebook group for Mavenclad for MS, and it seemed like more people were leaning towards night, so that's what I decided to do. But I don't necessarily think that that's applicable. I think it's just an individual experience that, you know, can be tweaked. For example, some people might say, well, if you start in the morning, you have to keep going in the morning. But hypothetically, if I forgot to take my pill till later in the day, the drug company and the pharmacist says you can still take it later in the day. So I think tweaking it's fine. I think it's more about just keeping the consistency of having it every day, and ideally having that 24-hour space in between each tablet. So that's my assessment. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't know. The other last thing I just want to show you before we end up is yesterday I've had a chapped lip. It's not too bad today, and it got so dry right away from the treatment that it was actually cracked a couple days ago and bleeding actually last night. And one thing that I've been doing, which is interesting, is I've just been taking coconut oil, which is actually what I use. This is an organic coconut oil. What I use for all of my cooking when I'm on the Terry Wall's Paleo Plus diet. And she also recommends you can use it for skin or you know, dry skin and stuff like that. It's oily, right? It's oil. So I wouldn't necessarily want to put that on my skin and then touch things like the furniture or even my clothing. However, it makes a really lovely lip balm. So this is almost an empty jar, and I'm just using the last little bit on my lip. And you know, I find that within 5 minutes of putting it on, my lips are dry again. It's not perfect, but by doing this regularly throughout my day, I have found that I got some relief. The other thing that I thought about last night, when I woke up in the morning, was that a lot of people have experienced bruises or more easily because your immune system is depleted. It's going down. The T and B or B and T cells, lymphoids, are affected. And so as they rebuild, your immune system climbs up again. And in that, a lot of people are saying they're getting bruises more easily. And because I had that chiropractic adjustment yesterday and my neck was hurting quite a bit, which is unusual because it's a very It's not an invasive process whatsoever. After icing it, I put Arnica on it because I thought, well, maybe I'm going to have a big bruise. And so for those of you that are concerned about bruising or have had bruises, some people have them on their face, their arms, their legs, Arnica, A-R-I-C-A, A-R-I-C-A, I'm not the greatest speller, especially on demand, either a cream or an ointment or a gel. Is really good. I have had a lot of shots in preparation for this to be able to go on the Mavenclad treatment. I've had 2 shingle shots with the new drug that's out there. I've had Hep B, and my arm got really, really sore, and this is even before going on Mavenclad, of course. And so I used Arnica on it for bruising and soreness, and it really makes a difference. If you're going to test it out and you're not familiar with it, you can get it at a health food store. Some pharmacies may carry it as well, Arnica. Again, cream, gel, or there's something else too. I bought it really cheaply in Mexico. You can get it for like $5. When in Canada or the US, it's a little more expensive. A lot more expensive, actually. But it works really well, and I would say applying it several times a day has worked really well for me, and eventually that bruise goes away a lot faster. So if you're open to that and you want to try that out as a solution, especially if that bruise is in an embarrassing place where you don't want people to see it, that can be quite useful to put that on. Okay, I think that's it for today. So that's kind of my reflection on Mavenclad. I'm going to come back and check in with you over the next week and give you a further update, just because my understanding of Mavenclad is that even though I've taken the 5 pills, it's still continuing to do its work. And so my immune system could potentially be dropping even before I start the next treatment in 3 weeks from now. So I'm really curious. It's an adventure, and I have to say that I felt in a completely a static, state when I took that last pill on the 5th day. And just like relief and euphoria. And yeah, so it's a time when you can really, now this week 2 to week 4, really, if you choose to, reflect. I invite you to reflect on the journey, and if you're not there yet and you're still going through all the protocol and you've got your fingers crossed about being approved, I just want to send you good vibes around that and encourage you to stay with it. There's a lot of people celebrating this opportunity. I have really no expectations about the results of this. I've just been through so many treatments in the past. So whatever emerges, whatever shows up for me, fantastic. Some people have experienced profound improvements, even though this is specifically, Mavenclad is specifically a preventative medication. So, there are miracles out there. If you want to send the miracles my way, go ahead. Write your comments below. Check out the Mavenclad for MS Facebook group if you haven't. If you're not part of it already, it's an invaluable resource. Lots of comments for successful treatment, other people really struggling, so it gives you a balanced perspective on this journey. It's we'll call it a wrap for today, and you'll hear from me again soon. Thanks so much. And if you want to check out my Facebook group, it's Life Beyond Fatigue. Life Beyond Fatigue. All right, and so it's also under, because I can't switch it yet, it's also under Allow Healing. So maybe do a search under either. I'll have to try that out and see what's showing up. Facebook hasn't switched it over to the Life Beyond Fatigue yet. Okay, all right, I will be in touch. Thank you for watching this video. Write your comments below, and see you soon.